At the food festival, my husband's first love pushed me, 3 months pregnant, into a boiling oil vat. My belly was instantly scalded through, amniotic fluid leaking out and fusing with my clothes. My husband rushed in with a doctor, but his first action was to meticulously treat the scratches on his first love's hands. Back to your tricks again, huh? Burning yourself for sympathy, then framing Primrose? He glanced at me with a cold sneer. You'd really do anything to get rid of her, wouldn't you? With that, my husband quietly coaxed his first love to leave. As for me, I passed out on the oil-stained kitchen floor from massive blood loss and the excruciating pain of the burns. When I opened my eyes again, chaos erupted in the kitchen, and I felt another forceful shove from behind. I gritted my teeth and protected my abdomen, staggering to a corner of the back kitchen. The burns all over my body made it hard to breathe. Primrose looked at the reporters flooding in and suddenly shouted, "Lydia's about to kill someone. Help." Hearing this explosive news, the reporters turned their cameras on me in unison. I raised the thermometer in my hand. Step back. The oil temperature here is over the limit and could catch fire at any moment. A few reporters were scared away. All the major media outlets were staking out the food festival. Someone must have leaked the news, allowing these people to rush into the kitchen area. I tightly gripped the thermometer data in my hand, waiting for one person. Before my rebirth, shortly after my death, Chairman Frost, the behind-the-scenes chairman of the global headquarters of Full House Restaurant, would come here with her confidants for an on-site inspection. Sure enough, there was a commotion outside, and the reporters turned towards the door. "It's Chairman Frost. Quick, take pictures." The scene was chaotic. Seeing that elegant figure enter the kitchen, I secretly rejoiced. I had finally waited for her. Suddenly, the kitchen exhaust caught fire, with flames darting towards Chairman Frost's direction. Ignoring my burns, I rushed over to push her away, only to be overwhelmed by the thick smoke and collapse to the ground. I feel dizzy and disoriented, with a shrill alarm piercing my ears. I hear Chairman Frost's angry voice. "The fire safety measures here are completely substandard. Call the fire department immediately." I was only unconscious for a few minutes before the pain jolted me awake. Primrose rushes over to me. "Oh my God, Lydia. This is all my fault. I'm absolutely terrified. My stomach, where the burn is bleeding." Her sudden embrace makes me break out in a cold sweat from the pain. Chairman Frost quickly supports me. "Don't move. The ambulance will be here soon. Thank you for saving me." A commotion erupts from the kitchen. I know Damien must have arrived with help. Sure enough, when Primrose sees Damien barging in with doctors, she immediately runs to him in tears. "Damien, I'm so scared." Clutching my stomach, I say weakly, "Chairman Frost, please save my baby. I'm 3 months pregnant." Chairman Frost's face suddenly changes. "You're pregnant? Quick, call 911. Don't worry, I know the best specialist from the Department of Burn. We'll save you for sure. This is all my fault for not inspecting thoroughly, to have you hold an exhibition in such a dangerous environment. Don't worry, I've already called a private doctor. They'll be here soon." As she spoke, she took off her coat and gently draped it over me, but my blood continued to seep out relentlessly. In the distance, Primrose collapsed into Damien's arms, sobbing, "Thank God you're here." I had no idea what to do. Just then, the tall and slender Damien rushed in with a private doctor. He quickly helped Primrose to a chair, carefully examining the scrapes on her hands. Turning to see me slumped on the floor, his eyes filled with contempt. "Lydia, you've really outdone yourself, using the excuse of a hygiene inspection to lure Primrose into the kitchen, just to harm her. You knew full well she has asthma and can't tolerate cooking fumes, you vicious woman." My whole body trembled, my voice weak. "It's not like that." She insisted on coming to the kitchen to see the secret recipe. I had no idea an accident would happen. "The doctor's right here now, please. Let him take a look at me. I'm in so much pain." My consciousness was fading. Damien let out a cold laugh. "This doctor is a specialist I brought in from the state capital to do a health assessment for Primrose. He's not here for your little act. Do you have any idea how much it costs for him to make a house call? Don't think you can gain sympathy with a few superficial injuries." Chairman Frost narrowed his eyes, his voice icy. "You're Damien, the manager of this area's Full House restaurant. This is your wife, who was severely injured trying to save me, and you're actually quibbling over medical expenses. Are you even human?" Damien looked at her with disdain. "And who might you be? I don't need outsiders meddling in my family affairs." "Lydia, your talent for hiring actors is certainly improving." Chairman Frost stood up. "I'll cover all the medical expenses." Damien cast a cold glance at me, then at Chairman Frost. "You'll cover it? Who do you think you are? You must be in cahoots with Lydia. I've seen this act 1,000 times. Even if you bring the best doctors, I won't let them treat her." I clutched my stomach, breaking out in a cold sweat from the pain. "Damien, even if you don't care about me, think about the baby in my belly. It's your flesh and blood." I had planned to tell him this good news after the food festival, when he was in a better mood. Who knew it would turn out like this? Damien's expression instantly froze. "What, baby?" Before he could finish speaking, Primrose suddenly cried out in pain and collapsed into his arms. "Damien, I can't breathe. I feel terrible. It's all because Lydia insisted on dragging me into the kitchen to see her recipe. I told her I have asthma, but she still pulled me to where the smoke was the thickest." Primrose spoke, twisting the truth. I looked at her in disbelief. "You're spewing lies. You're the one who tricked me, saying you wanted to see the secret recipe, then pushed me towards the hot oil." Primrose coughed, looking at Damien with pitiful eyes. "Sister Lydia, why are you saying such things?" "Damien, she's always targeting me, probably because you're always concerned about my illness. Today, she was trying to take advantage of the situation to kill me." Damien's eyes grew dark. "Lydia, you lunatic, how dare you try to kill Primrose? How can you be so evil, you bitch?" I shook my head, tears blurring my vision. "Say whatever you want, you don't believe me anymore anyway." I felt the bleeding getting worse and tightly grasped Chairman Frost's hand. "Chairman Frost, Please take me to the hospital. I'm afraid the baby won't make it. Chairman Frost immediately nodded. Don't worry. My car is right outside. I'll take you to the hospital right away. He then moved to help me up. Stop right there. Damien blocked the doorway, clutching a contract in his hand and pointing at me. You've always had it out for Primrose, and now you're trying to hurt her with such a despicable scheme. You must apologize in front of everyone right now. You're not leaving until Primrose calms down, otherwise you'll kneel here until she forgives you. I stared at him in disbelief. Have you lost your mind? You're willing to abandon your own flesh and blood based on her word alone. Primrose leaned weakly against Damien. Lydia dear, if you just admit your mistake, I'll forgive you right away. Why do you insist on lying? You know you've done wrong, yet you fabricate this pregnancy story to deceive Damien. Isn't this trick a bit too low? Didn't your medical checkup last year show you were infertile? How are you suddenly pregnant? Why lie to Damien? You know he hates being deceived more than anything. Damien looked at me with disgust. 5 years, and you've never gotten pregnant. Now you suddenly claim you are. Do you think I'd believe that? Apologize to Primrose now. Why am I infertile? Damien knows that better than anyone. 2 years ago, when I first became pregnant, he forced me to accompany clients for drinks to save the company. I was made to drink so much that not only did I lose the baby, but I was also left with fertility issues. Now he has the audacity to say such things. Suddenly, a warm liquid flowed down between my legs, and my face turned deathly pale. The manager, who had been observing silently, couldn't stand by any longer and quietly suggested, Mr. Channing, your wife seems to be seriously hurt. Shouldn't we take her to the hospital immediately? Damien sneered. You don't understand. This is her usual tactic to gain sympathy. These minor injuries won't kill her. My heart turned cold. Even an outsider could see the severity of my condition, yet he was so heartless. The female assistants Damien brought along whispered among themselves, always having to be wary of Miss Harrington. They should have divorced a woman like her long ago. Yeah, Miss Harrington is gentle and considerate, plus she's got a degree from abroad. Unlike her, always putting on airs as the CEO's wife. What's the point of keeping a woman who can't have children? They should have made Miss Harrington the official wife already. Primrose looked at me smugly, her eyes full of mockery. I feel the entire world spinning as Chairman Frost struggles to support me. My blood has already stained the floor beneath. Damien, his eyes red with rage, kicks over the first aid kit. No apology, no leaving this place. Chairman Frost explodes in anger. Do you know who I am? How dare you treat a pregnant woman like this? Damien stands tall. Anyone who dares to help this crazy woman today is going against my Full House restaurant. Chairman Frost coldly pulls out a business card. I'm Chairman Frost, the board director from your headquarters. Is this how you treat your guests here? Primrose suddenly lets out a coquettish laugh, snatching the card away. Board director? You? Without even an assistant? Don't tell me you bought a fake card online. She tore up the business card and threw it on the ground, then clutched her chest and coughed violently. Damien, I can't breathe. Quick, take me to the hospital. With that she collapsed into Damien's arms. Damien scooped her up and rushed out, turning back to snarl. Lydia, if anything happens to Primrose, I'll make sure you never work in this field again. Security, seal off all exits. Let them figure their own way out. With that, he disappeared down the hallway carrying Primrose. The head of security looked down at me apologetically. I'm sorry, Miss Shaw. Then he followed orders, locking down all exits, shutting off the emergency elevator, and left with them. I lay on the cold tile floor, my whole body shaking. Chairman Frost, you should go now. You can still get out through the fire escape. Don't worry about me. I really can't move. If I don't make it, please call the police for me. I swear I'll divorce Damien even if it kills me. Chairman Frost's eyes welled up. Don't talk nonsense. The ambulance will be here soon. You have to hang on. My vision grew darker and darker until finally, I couldn't see anything at all. When I woke up, I found myself lying in a private high-end hospital room. I could hear Chairman Frost raging. What? All the best burn specialists in the city have been called away by Full House Restaurant. Not a single one can be brought in. Who does Damien think he is? Neglecting his pregnant darling for some side chick? Well, Damien has certainly taught me a lesson. Driver, start the car. I'm heading to the branch office right now to demand some answers. Let's see how he explains this to me. Meanwhile, at the Full House restaurant branch, Primrose was lying in Damien's arms, playing the victim. Damien, you should go check on Lydia. My asthma is an old condition. It won't kill me. If something really happens to her, you'll feel guilty. After all, she's your lawfully wedded darling. What am I compared to that? I don't want to be the reason you're cursed at. Damien held her tighter. Don't think too much. I've already called the best specialists to treat you. Nothing will happen. With me here, who would dare say anything? Just as he finished speaking, Chairman Frost burst in with her people. Break down that door.